Coley here. You should subscribe to my channel because otherwise real ones don't get famous and only people who do this kind of dumb shit do, you know?
I don't know shit. I don't know shit.
Coley here, new Revelutionary. Equal sign on my arm. In today's age of white supremacy, I think it's pretty clear to rep when I'm being outside the box. I think we're all equal. So know that my ideas here come in good intention. And will probably get me in trouble because they'll be sliced into short bits and misconstrued, but that's the modern day we have. Today is Coley on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And this particular podcast is going to be focused on the liberals and socialists and diverse people who exhibit hypocrisy in trying to implement that. And the reason why I'm going to focus on that is because if you look at all my past work and messages, I have been a big time supporter of DEI from before it was a word. Since I was in high school, I was talking about shared equity and sharing with multiple people, and I was friends with all different races, religions, tribes, LGBTQ, pro-gay marriages, preteen, and my buddies who worked on Wall Street for the 1 year I did tell me, they were like, you were talking about this DEI stuff back then, like it should be stakeholder theory and equity should be shared with the workers and the people and all the races together. I was always super pro this, and I still am. I think it's a great idea, and not because of just empathy for past oppression, but also it makes us better. It makes us a better country, and diversity of thought and people help us. That's what America is. We're the immigrant country. We are all immigrants. The closest thing to a real American is idealistic Philadelphian, where it was invented, but a little bit further back, the realist American, Native Americans, they were here first. So I would describe my economic theory as like American Taoism, or like a gift economy, where like you use the modern tools, equity and math and finance, to split ventures and projects into co-op ownership with your entire community, or I like to call it communityist. But in the past, I thought I called that conscious capitalism. Realized that wasn't accurate enough, and capitalism is fucked. And then I called it logical socialism. And then I realized that's fucked and that hasn't been done right. And then I was calling it non-authoritarian communism. And it's like, that's not right. It's like, it needs a new term because all humans have fucked up these prior systems. So, communityism or American Taoism, or like shared community resources, things like this. That's what I believe in. And if you put that into the corporate world, it's going to look like DEI, but I talk about a lot of that at length. Look at my other stuff. I want to talk to my liberal friends and DEI friends or whatever. I just made Jeebus, right? And it has Black, Latin, Native American, Asian, special ed, neurodiverse, artists with disabilities. The local homeless guy plays one of the three wise men, and everybody on the cast and crew co-owns it. So I think it's a organic, authentic, perfect version of DEI in motion from the ground up by the people. A way I've been doing this for 10 plus years before DEI was a term. So and along this path, you see in execution a lot of hypocrisy, and that's where I want to show the blind spots, so we can make it better and keep doing it and not give the alt-right any ammo in, saying it's reverse racist or not right or whatever. Because it's a good idea. It benefits everybody. But it's, you can't just do the same thing that other people did in the past, or you're just the new problem, regardless of branding. So some of the things I've seen. One is... you got to walk the talk pre and post success. So I have noticed some of the most socialist collaborators I've worked with are the ones who get offended when I suggest working for equity or back-end profits in projects because they want to be paid cash. I've noticed it time and time again. The most socialist, the ones who are waxing philosophic with me in the studio, are the ones who are like, no, you got to pay me or I'm not doing it. I don't even care about the equity. I'm like, dude, how can you say you're a socialist? You can't just say socialism is after it's a company, then it gets shared. Like, you got to support fellow socialists trying to create an economic system for a group of people that we all eat off fairly. And so when you got a guy like me trying to do it from nothing to something, and I don't have no fucking bucks because I ain't, born from wealth or didn't take the chosen path of doing a job or chasing money like you are, I got to do it using energy contribution. We all contribute energy, and then we split the pie that we make from that energy, whether it's a movie, a song. I'm not asking you to do hard fucking labor. I'm saying be silly on a fucking camera, do your heart's biggest passion, and give a little good faith investment of energy and time to try to make it worth something so that we can have a prosperous economic system that we all share. And then these socialists are like, nah, you got to pay me. Nah, I need American dollars, fiat. It's like, I thought you were the socialist. I thought you were the fucking socialist. What the fuck are you doing? I've seen it time and time again. It's insane. So you got to walk the talk pre-success too. And startup culture gets that. People starting a company in a garage. There's no free lunch, man. You got to earn your seat at the table in the equity. You got to put some skin in the game, And then on the other side, I do believe that the way to fix inequality in the corporate system and Fortune 500 and NASDAQ and all that shit is do a worker IPO and just do a secondary offering, just like they do on Wall Street to give more equity shares to rich people. Just do a 10%, 20% secondary offering and give all that equity to the employees. Boom. You could do it in a couple days. Get some clearance, regulation, bop, do it, right? Not a couple days. It's use the same system, but share it, right? So if we're going to talk about wanting that to flow down, which I believe it should, trickle down has not worked. It's been trickling up. We got to walk the same talk in our organic small business, entrepreneurial, creative ventures, because I don't honestly think they're probably going to give it down. So we got to build it up. And then when I go to a fellow wannabe comrade, they go, where's the cash? I'm like, that sounds capitalist, dude. But anyway, so that's the first one. Now, 2, the ideology must be accurate and intellectually honest, regardless of branding. So regardless of whether you're white, black, Latin, LGBTQ, straight, whatever it is, that same logic, that same ideology, that same ideals needs to apply across the board. I'll give a couple examples. This one's more sensitive, obviously, coming from the white dude, but I swear I'm one of y'all and us, and I hope we all fuck until we're all gray and purple in the future, and there's not even like anything left to mix. And I think that's better for both the immune system, antibodies, and genetics, and I think it's why America became the greatest country in the world in under 300 years, is because of this chaotic, diverse ecosystem. And I acknowledge that America made some pretty terrible sins, Native American genocide, slavery, etc. Now, today, though, I came from fucking Philly, and all my buds and Gen Z, like most of them, came from right over there. We did not go through that. And forefathers who were not problematic, as well as the social justice, righteous warriors who fought and really suffered to get this, deserve the utmost respect. It's a decent system. It's the best system in the world. It's flawed, but we got to make a more perfect union. So that's what I'm trying to do here. And so what I've noticed sometimes is I will be promoting DEI, right? So, like this, and I'll say in a podcast or a chat or a project, I love that we have a diverse co-op of people in Jeebus, and put on Native Americans and blacks and this and that, and or this, and then like a black guy will be like, yo, you're patronizing, you can't say that. And I'll be like, what the fuck do you want, man? What the fuck, dude? What do you want? Okay, so should I go join the fucking Charleston squad? I'm trying. What the fuck what am I supposed to do? I'm with you. I'm with you, and I'm pro it, and I'm also nothing special and not a savior. I'm just saying words that you're saying that I think are good ideas, and I genuinely like to do it. I'm not doing it to be nice. I think black guys are funny, and I want them in my shit. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck, man? Why are you knocking me? There's this like reverse cynicism thing where you're like, you can't be a white supremacist. Of course, you can't help us, or you're patronizing. That's for us to decide. I'm like, oh, all right, sure. What do you want me to do? Tell me. I'm trying to help. I understand it, but it's a little off base. And to be honest, I think I currently have more intellectual honesty than some of y'all, because I came from just as broke whatever, and I'm like Coca-Cola promoting Pepsi. I'm a white dude being like, yo, let's do diversity, dude. And you're Pepsi promoting Pepsi. Like, yo, we need more diversity for us. I'm like, we need more diversity for you. I'm kidding, but seriously, I mean, I'm being idealistic here, and you're mad at me for it. I don't fucking get it. So yeah, don't be mad at allies, even if it's flawed, and teach us or whatever. But also, like, this whole like, you gotta stay educating, keep educating, and it's like, dude, I'm not flagellating myself for life, man. Like, I've gotten this for a long time. We gotta have freedom of expression, and nobody's fucking perfect, dude. We're all fucked. We all suck a little bit. Every race sucks a little bit. I think if we all accepted that, we would be all right. But it's a human issue, and hopefully we get to this post-color human thing. But that's another thing. People, I don't see color. It's like, in Philadelphia, you do. You're like, Tommy, he's black guy, he's fucking hilarious. And they're like, oh, white guy, you're fucking like American Pie. We should love each other, yet be so honest we can kid around and mock each other, because that's what's going to create real intimate understanding and union. And policing thought, even of allies, is just not helpful. It's not helpful, and you're hurting people who are trying to help. That being said, who gives a fuck? Keep on rolling. Like, you still got human autonomy and sovereignty. You can do whatever you want. I'll do whatever I want. Like, regardless of politics and ideology and identity politics. Like, I don't care what you are. I can always be like, nah, fuck you, pussy. Like, nah, that ain't it. I don't care what you are. Fuck you, and that's equality. I'm not going to sit there and let somebody from a different race say the wrong thing to me and be ignorant to me, and then me be like, but you're right because of your race. I'll be like, nah, fuck you, pussy, too. Fuck you, pussy. It's just like I told that white guy yesterday. Fuck you, pussy. You can all get it, right? I'm trying to love everybody, but if it ain't it, fuck you, pussy. I don't care what you're saying. You see what I'm saying? So there's that one. And luckily, these are rare scenarios. Luckily, for the most part, I've experienced a lot of support for these ideas, and people see where I'm coming from. So that's that one. Let's see. Third, let me meditate so I can get it as most accurate. Question: is it ever okay to harm another race because of their race? Or sexual orientation, et cetera, et cetera. No, should be no across the board. So let's make it a positive, uplifting, empowering thing where we give more opportunities to people who've been historically oppressed or judged. But when somebody of maybe a non-oppressed class gets an opportunity, don't tear them down. They don't deserve it, give it to them. They might have just got it. They just fit for that energetic thing. And when you go, no, it's okay to be mean to the white guy because they deserve it, that's racist. That's pure that is racism. That's not Trumpian, we're hurt, butthurt thing. That's like an actual, just genuine, good old-fashioned racism, right? And I'm not calling it reverse racism because that would say that we were like superior. We're not. It's all racism. I'm a quality dude, right? So you can't just do the same thing that. Yeah, I'm just doing a quick vlog and then I'll be over if you don't mind. I'm a member here. It's just an energetic thing. I caught a wave.
This area is closed.
Yeah, I won't come back again.
Okay,
Thank you, sir. Shouldn't be back here, but what's this thing about? Crossing boundaries of society to progress humanity, righteous protest, whatever. So if you say it's okay to oppress or take advantage of a class that previously was the oppressors, I mean, unless it's the oppressor itself, that's racist. So if somehow you can get your hands on the 1% or families that benefited from slaves and all that and tax our ass, I'm all for that. Reparations, cool, like get the law and math right on it. But like if you think, agreeing to do equity with me and then later pulling a grift or a jux and being like, nah, dog, you got to pay me $4,000. That's just making up for colonialism. It's like, dude, I am right here next to you at Wawa, given the opportunity we discussed with business ethical handshake, and now you can just like take me for that. That's happened a couple times. It's like, dude, fuck, man, that's not cool, dude. And what are you proving with that? You're just doing the same thing the oppressors did. Economic poor ethics and taking advantage. That's not right. So if you want to be the light you want to see, as diverse populations become more powerful, as they should and will, because they will be over 50%, just like whites were over 50% for a long time, you got to live the same walk that you wanted to be walked. There's got to be this corrective period, I believe, and that's where the Trumpers got to chill out, dude. It's like, yo, it just switched. Give them a second to stunt in the end zone, and and then it'll fucking balance out, and then we'll be cool. But we ain't there yet. There's some shit that's got to be corrected. But after that, please have the grace to not just do the thing that the fucking whites did, and then oppress backwards. It's like you got to walk the new ideals, or you're the same thing they were, and then you prove their point. They're like, see, if you were in charge, you would have just did it. I don't believe that. I think good humans are good humans, and they shouldn't have did that, and the good's got to rise, and we got to do a better way. So you can't say, no, we're going to oppress now because that's what they did. It's like, well, then that's what they said. They were like, we just happened to have gotten the keys to the castle, and we fucking raped and pillaged you, and now you got them, and you're raping and pillaging me. Fuck that shit, dude. We got to be the light. It's the only actual brands and teams for me is Jedi versus Sith Lord. Be a Jedi, not a Sith Lord, regardless of race. So that's that one. Let's think of some others here, because it's a complex thing that all needs to go. Truth always wins. So let's, in the history books, all that, we got to tell all of our ugly. You can't fucking whitewash that shit. You got to talk about that ugly, but you also have to have the intellectual honesty to realize that's not now, and how can that inform the future? We can't just keep arguing about the past. On the oppression thing, the oppressed becomes the oppressor. A good friend of mine who's a Harvard black guy, CFO, very brilliant thinker, he was the one who told me that thought. So give a little credit on that, where it's just like, he called it. He called him. So he's on the right side of justice. Think of some other ones here. You can't demonize any group, regardless. So I moved to Hollywood, and most of my neighborhood was LGBTQ, who I've always loved, always had a great time with. Never thought it was weird. Got a lot of gay friends. It's not a thing. It's you're what you are. I'm what you are. I don't get these people saying it's bad and unholy. It's like, dude, you telling the gays to be straight is like telling the straights to be gay. Like, they're gay is you're straight. So it's like, it's actually gay to say the gays should be straight. That's their straight. So let them be gay and you're straight and whatever, dude. You know what I mean? Like, who fucking cares? But then you got these gays coming at me like, all right, cis male. I experienced it. This is not an emotion. I'm not a Trumper. I'm not watching online and feeling offended. I don't give a shit. I think it's interesting as shit. My favorite side hobby is reading trans Twitter. I think it's fucking compelling. It is interesting shit, dude. It is. I want to know all the details, the dates, how it went. Like, this shit is fucking interesting. But then you come across the tweet where it's this a trans female who says something like this, and they repeat it 10 times on their Twitter. They go, trans females are real females. Trans females are real females. Trans females are real females. And then they go, trans females are real females. So if a straight cis male wants to date a trans female, he's still straight because she's a real female. And then they'll repeat it 10 times. And I'll be like, dude, you don't sound confident in that. I'm with you to some extent. I don't really care about branding regardless. I'm anti grammar generally. It's not just the nouns. I also don't fuck with adjectives or proper punctuation. But you're sitting there repeating it like you got a lot of energy around it. Doesn't sound like you're that confident. You gotta get your confidence up, girl. You gotta get your confidence up, girl. You gotta know that. You don't even gotta say that. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then, you know, they'll right under that there'll be a post of like a trans female of mine said, you know, how should I date straight cis males? And she said, you know, just make sure they know that you're taller than them so you can demean them into knowing you're better in all ways. I'm like, oh, that does not sound healthy. And she goes, the friend said that too. And she said, well, what do I do if I want to have a healthy relationship with a straight cis male? She goes, well, then date women. Says the trans woman. She just said all straight men are toxic. That's anti-man. Maybe why you switch teams? I mean, if you hate us, I don't even know how to unwind that. I don't even know how to unwind that. Okay, there are good women, there are good men, there are good trans men, there are good trans women, there's bad ones, there's people growing, there's people in the middle. You can't say all cis men are toxic and just date women when you're a biological male who switched to a woman. That's some Judas shit, man. You can't fucking just switch teams and then throw us under the bus when I'm supporting you. Fuck out of here, man. Or whatever. That's not cool. That's not cool. You can't do that. That's hatred. You're showing your hatred on your sleeve. And it makes the whole I'm the real woman thing, it hurts your point. It seems like you're self-loathing or something. So I would suggest saying trans women are real women. And I love everybody. Boom. That seems right. That's cool. Boom. I'm with that. I'm totally with that. But why you gotta throw some other fucking person under the bus? You know? And you know, for me, if I was a trans woman, I'd be like, you can call me whatever you want. You can call me a shithead. You can tell me a fuckhead. I'm like, whatever, man. I'm like, dude, I'm a dude as a woman who fucks dudes. Fuck you, pussy. Call me whatever you want. That's what I am. Because I'm confident. But maybe that's a dude trait. Maybe that's a masculine trait. That's what makes me a dude. So the fact that these trans women are like, I need to be treated special, does sound like they're a woman. Does sound like they're a woman. I'm kidding, there's a little misogyny there, but I don't know. There are masculine and feminine traits, and they can be in different biological forms, and that kind of supports the liberal gender ideology, and that's what the right wing need to understand. And but if that's the case, then you also have to accept that there is yin and yang and masculine and feminine. You can't just be like, it's masculine to wear nail paint. It's like, no, it's feminine to wear nail paint, but you can do it as a masculine person. It's like, there's just not a lot of intellectual honesty, you know? And then to end on a really good note for the trans, because I really do support you. I'm rooting for you here. The alt-right, tie goes to who cuts their dick off. I mean, if they're like, yo, you don't think I'm really this? I'll cut my dick off. It's like, you win. You fucking win. Like, they're putting their penis where their mouth is. You know what I mean? So you got to give it to them on that. And I experienced this. I did a uptight citizens charade class, and it was me. I was the only white straight male. The rest were women, two other dudes, one part Syrian, part Latin, and although the part Syrian was named Jeffrey, so that's pretty white. But I was the only like the standard white dude, and the rest were largely women and LGBTQ and whatever. And all my jokes were about colonialism and anti-slavery and anti-racism and pro-equality and some quantum physics in there and some other stuff. And theirs were largely about like dating and cupcakes and stuff. And they kept calling me crazy. And I'm like, well, that's a diverse class too, right? I mean, that's a neurodiversity. You can't. That's I've deserved rights too as a crazy person. And then they kicked me out because of they had a policy about no sex jokes, and I didn't make a sex joke. A woman made a sex joke, and she said, I went on the class exercise was person tells a monologue, and then the class comes up with a 2-person scene based on it. And she said, I went to Mexico City, and me and my girlfriend and our boyfriends went, and I wanted to have sex with my boyfriend in the bathroom, but my girlfriend was in there getting broke up with, and I didn't know what to do, and then they got out, and then we went in there and had sex. And then the class comes up with ideas. Somebody said, wear a funny outfit while they do it, and somebody else said, blah, blah, blah. And I raised my hand and I said, why don't she console her friend while doing it? Like, win-win, it's like, and I was picturing the two girls in the scene, the friend and the whatever. And the teacher's like, no, Coley, you can't have jokes about sex. I was like, I added the empathy. I added the compassion. I added the consoling. The sex was inserted from the woman in reverse irony. That was who put the sex on the table for this particular skit. Yeah, no problem. Then Coley says something. Now Coley's the one making sex jokes. I didn't make a sex joke. I said console her while your boyfriend taps in the bathroom. There's no touching. There's no physicality. I'm in the back of the room. And this is the kind of fucking environment in LA where they're like all coming to me. I was like, damn. And they sent me to Comedy HR. I just sit down in Comedy HR. And they told me how I'm a terrible person for adding the consoling. Like, you're off. You're off there, okay? I'm all with all the problems of society, Me Too, all this stuff. We got to correct a lot of shit, but, like, that ain't it. That is not it. You're hurting a good dude trying to fucking get to the point here. The consoling. Like, Jesus, Jeebus, I was adding empathy. So you gotta check yourself, yo. Like, you can't be just more of the same shit you were against. You gotta fucking, like, just have some intellectual honesty and some humility. And you gotta do a lot of emotional and psychological work to make sure that your words come from a place of truth, justice, and progress, not grievance, scar, and pain. And that's all part of it too, but the best message is it's going to resonate and not give the other side ammo to say you're just tripping is from this place. I really do think that. And instead of DEI, let's just call it community economics. let's call it communityism. Just do what's right for the entire community in fairness and equality. And that includes everybody, and everybody's welcome to the future. And I hope we figure this thing out, because I think we're just that weird bar in Star Wars, and I love every weird alien of every type. It makes life better. Love y'all.
I don't know shit. Right now 76, thinking. I don't know shit. Yeah, I don't know shit.